Welcome to Woman This Month's podcast show. I'm George Middleton, and I'm going to be your host, who'll be interviewing a number of tremendously inspirational women, all of whom have become award winners for the Woman of the Year Awards 2024. Dana Zubari, welcome.
Hello, George
How
Middleton.
are you doing?
Thank
Good to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Lovely. Well, you are the Woman of the Year Awards 2024 Woman in Media award recipient. Could you tell us what that means to you as a very established media personality in Bahrain and the region?
Well, first of all, the fact that they considered social media as a form of media, we've come to the future, right? Because now everybody gets their information through social media. So that is something that I was really flattered and I was really excited to receive this award. So thank you.
Fantastic. You're a prominent advocate for a healthy lifestyle in most of your postings, your social media postings, which are Instagram, Snapchat,
It's
Facebook.
mostly Instagram. I use Instagram as my platform to educate women. I am a person that absolutely loves sports. I've loved sports since I was a child. I've competed since I was a kid, I would say since I was 13. And honestly, my passion hasn't stopped. I also don't like gatekeeping information, so I love sharing information about health and wellness and sharing information about how to have health in your family dynamics as well. So I think that's what made people really enjoy watching my posts, because not only as a woman, but as a mother and as a family member.
Talking about what is your regional reach at the moment through?
So my regional reach is mostly Bahrain. I would say 70% of the people that follow me are from Bahrain, and my audience is kind of split in the middle.
You're a lifestyle influencer, but you're also actually keen on supporting charitable causes. How do you balance this business and making a meaningful social impact?
So I genuinely believe that if you aren't using your platform, if you're a person that has a huge platform and you have such a big reach on the community and you're not using it to spread awareness on certain aspects like breast cancer awareness or charities like the Sanabil Orphans or Bahrain Rescues, if you're not doing that, then you're not giving back to the community and you're just taking. And I believe that every person, if they just dedicate 1% of their time to giving back to the community, we can better our community so much more.
Lifestyle can range in the areas whereby you're talking about young people who could be very easily influenced in certain areas. How do you see your role in empowering women and young girls in this regard?
So I feel a lot, and by the way, my demographic is quite large. I have teenagers coming up to me and telling me we love watching your content, all the way up to women in their 70s and 80s. My grandmother is one of the ladies that watch my content and think it's amazing. The reason why I do have a large range is because what I promote is loving yourself, giving back to the community, taking a healthy approach. So in life, there's always shortcuts. I've never, ever promoted shortcuts. I've always promoted put the hours into what you're working on. I put the hours into social media, creating content. I put the hours into training. I put the hours into raising my daughter. These are all things that I put the hours into, and then I reap the benefits.
Does your daughter participate in any of your social media activities?
Yes, she does. She does. I don't try to put her too much in front of the camera. She's also 10 years old now, so she does have an opinion. I do show her the video before I post it, and if she doesn't feel comfortable with it, I do not post it. So I do believe that me as an adult choosing to be on social media is completely different than a child choosing to be on social media, and that also needs to be monitored.
What does this award mean to you personally and professionally?
Honestly, this award just brought me so much happiness. It just professionally, it showed all my hard work being recognized, and it really, really touched me. And I just want to thank Woman this month for having this award and recognizing Bahraini women in different fields here in 2024. And I'm excited to see what are the results for 2025.
I'm George Middleton, and I'm going to have a coffee break now. We'll be right back after Garden of Coffee. Zahra Abdul Malik, you are Woman of the Year Awards 2024 Woman in Philanthropy. Congratulations and welcome to our Woman This Month podcast.
Thank you, George, for having me.
You are most welcome. What an inspirational and well-deserved recognition for all of your pioneering work with the less fortunate. But you're not necessarily known for that. I know that we've identified your expertise in this particular area, but could you tell us a little bit about your main business function, which is as a pioneering horticulturalist in Bahrain's desert climate?
I was raised by a mother she was very inspirational, and she was a nature-loving person. So from young age, I was in love with gardening and nature. When I was really in primary school, we used to have a beautiful garden in the school. Every morning I will go to the gardener of the school and ask him to pick some carnations so I can take it to the principal's office. But then when I finished my high school and I got a scholarship to study to be a dentist, all the scholarship for medical school, they have to go to Egypt. But my father, he wouldn't agree. He said, no, you're not going to Egypt. You have to be with your brothers in USA. And they are studying engineering, and I didn't want to be an engineer. So the closest category that I can choose and go on scholarship, it was horticulture. To my surprise, I was told by the president of the university that I was the first person from this part of the world coming to study horticulture in US. So that made me more be inspired to continue studying. Even this field is really dominated by male. So I wanted to really explore this field that they say it is only dominated by male. What is it? What it has? And I went through all the sections of horticulture. It's a huge field, Even when I graduated, I worked in the Ministry of Agriculture. I chose not just any department, I chose research because I wanted to do more. I was approached by Garden Club, which I didn't hear about.
Right.
They
heard about you.
Yeah, I don't know how they heard about it. That it is the chairperson of the Garden Club, God bless her, Miss Claire Weaver. She came to the ministry and asked the undersecretary, I want to meet this lady. And they took me to the club to become part of it.
And the rest is history, as they say.
The rest is history.
That's it. So how many years have you been with the Bahrain Garden Club?
40 years.
40 years in total. So, okay, let's ease ourselves now into your other, in fact, the award that you've been provided with is for philanthropy. How does horticulture develop into philanthropy from your particular?
Yes, because, volunteering for this 4 decades, being with nature and doing horticultural work, gardening, it is physiotherapy. Within the horticulture, there are so many other things that you can do that it gives you the ease of life. It will be connected with your personal life and nature. So this is, I look at it, in a philanthropic way. I always remember my mom when she calls me up, and sometimes I don't get to the phone. And then later when I call her up, and I said, I was in the garden doing something, or I was doing some craft work, or I was doing some flower arrangement for something. And she will always tell me, encouraging that, yeah, it's better to be with nature and talk to your plants. Sometimes it's better than talking to human beings.
Do your plants talk back to you? Or do
yes,
they
talk back to me, but they're being healthy.
Yeah.
Producing flowers and fruits for me. Really, they're talking back to me. They don't go drop dead, There are so many society worldwide now, and they have huge number of membership. Like they do a lot of therapeutic events and works, like even now in hospital, there are gardening, they're working with crafts in gardening, because it helps to ease up the mind, because the well-being, it's very important not to be enclosed. Take it out. And being with nature, it gives you the side of to be mellow. Really, garden, it makes you mellow. That, give with passion, you will receive with greatness and with happiness.
Thank you, Zahra. Finally, what does this award mean to you personally and professionally?
First of all, this award, I'm so happy. Thank you for all the people, the judges, all the organization of this award. It's so great to be recognized. The second stage, what it went by voting, I feel this is people's choice, that they chose me. It is so, my children, my grandchildren, they're so proud. My work, my experience, it's been, appreciated. And it really goes back to you guys for organizing all this, because I know it is a big, huge thing for all over Bahrain. 2 days ago, I was at the supermarket. He said, "You're the lady that got the award. Congratulations." And I was going, oh my God. It was so nice. So thank you, George, for being over this event and this award. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zahra. Thank you for being who you are and for all your horticultural and philanthropic activities. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
George Middleton here, back from the break. Brilliant coffee, as I said. Thank you. Let's proceed. Dr. Fatima Marhoon, Woman in Health Women of the Year Awards winner for 2024. Welcome to our Woman This Month podcast show.
Thank you for having me.
Dr. Marhoon, your work as a genetic counselor focuses on personalized medicine as well as autism awareness. How do you see these advancements in treating both these disciplines, transforming healthcare, particularly for autism?
Actually, my work is going parallel to each other, but luckily I can combine both together. And moreover, I'm focused with the autism advocacy and activism here locally and even globally. I started this work since 2018 when I joined the Bahraini Autistic Society. At the beginning, I was just a member. Then I aspired to achieve more by joining the admin, and I was elected by the other members to also head the Awareness and Education Committee. Through that position, I started my work in advocacy and education. I started a lot of workshops and awareness sessions for the families and the autism community, the Arabic one in particular. Luckily, I was supported by a big volunteer group here in Bahrain, which is also in the society, which helped me to achieve more.
How did you get so passionate and so involved in the autism scale?
Well, let me begin first with the autism term itself. It comes from the Latin word autos, which means self. In fact, it's not a disease, it's a disorder. A disease is something that you know its etiology and you have a treatment for, but you give the term disorder for all of the entities that you can identify, but you cannot tackle the exact reason or the background behind it, why it happens. So because you don't know why it happens, you can't have a curative treatment. You can have management, you can have therapies to improve the quality of life, but there is no curative management for it. So that's why we differentiate between a disease and disorder. And autism, in fact, is a disorder. And in 1980s, it was officially a label, autism spectrum disorder. At the old classification, it had 5 subtypes or 5 categories. But then it was modified again on 2012, and they decided to fit them all in one title. no subcategories. It's all autism spectrum disorder.
And so how is the autism scale defined?
Well, the old terms like mild and moderate and severe are still used, but in an unofficial way, to simplify the terms and the severity for the general population, and sometimes to ease it for the families on how to deal with such a big label with their children. And currently, the autism is classified according to the level of support. Level support 1, level support 2, and level support 3. Support 1 means they need minimal support. 2 means moderate. 3 means the highest support or prompts is needed. And sometimes it means that their independency skills are needed to be supported in all of the aspects.
These children who are autistic, what is the best way of dealing with them? For people who are not professional experts like yourselves, but ordinary people, what is the best way to engage with them?
This question is being repeated in all of the aspects and all of the places where I go. And I find it fascinating because the answer is simple. You just treat them with kindness, just like any other human being. Maybe if we reverse the question, what not to do to them or how not to tackle them? Because what do I see here in the community and even globally when I go abroad is that there is some stigma, like people look through their own perspective and glasses that they are different kind or a different species. In fact, they are an extension of our own normal, but to the extreme.
Girls seem to be much less diagnosed than boys in general. Is there any reason for that?
Studies have shown that girls are able to mask it, to control it more. And from genetic perspective, females are having double chromosome, which means that they have one spared chromosome and one acting. So if there is anything in one chromosome, they have the spare. Whereas in boys, they inherited X and Y. So the Y is what makes a male with all of the male characteristics. But unfortunately, they are left with one X chromosome, which means they will have the more severe symptoms rather than girls. And they will have less control over the manifestation other than girls.
Fascinating. I absolutely, my heart goes out to you and your professional dedication in this regard. Thank you so much, Doctor. Really appreciate your time. And look forward to hearing of your ongoing successes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was really fascinating.
Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap. We've had amazing interviews today with the 2024 Woman of the Year Award winners. Next year, 2025, is going to be even bigger and greater. Look forward to seeing you there.